I want to play a moment for you from a Kari Lake press conference. Before getting into that, for those of you who did not see the first two videos in the car, we are traveling all day today in the car, and so we want to do segments while we're on the road. But getting into this, Kari Lake held a press conference. I think this comes from shortly after her primary victory, but she is discussing different things and then opens it up to a Q&A. And in Arizona Central, the publication, an Arizona reporter asked her a question. And we're going to look at this back and forth and then discuss sort of a part of it that's very representative of a characteristic of MAGA, and how I think even long after Trump is politically relevant, I do think that we're going to be dealing with this complete change in how at least a part of our political spectrum deals with and interacts with the press. So here's this, then we'll discuss.
Do we miss you? My least favorite publication. Now, when is the Arizona Republic going to start being fair?
Kari Lake with the Arizona Republic. You spoke about your polling and how your campaign did in the primary and such, and that you have Republicans united behind you. When do you expect to see a flood of money coming in from, all the various Republican organizations from Washington, or the endorsement and public backing of people like Karen Taylor Robeson or Doug Ducey or others? Should we expect any of that to, sort of make the case?
We just said Karen Robeson has endorsed me.
Will she be on the trail with you?
I don't know. I mean, she's running a business, and I'm okay on the trail. I mean, I think an endorsement, it's never enough for the Republic, though. It's never enough. It's like a 16-point win isn't enough. You win in a landslide, and they say it wasn't a big enough landslide. You raise money. I raised $5.2 million, and they say it wasn't enough. Get endorsements from people, and they say it wasn't enough of the endorsement, or it wasn't a big enough endorsement. I don't know what I can do to please the Arizona Republic, but I'm not trying to please the Arizona Republic.
Yes, Kari, you're so brave. Speak truth to power, yes. He just asked you a very basic question. Again, one of the things we've reviewed is when you look at reporters interacting with politicians in a lot of other countries, it's not even disrespectful or rude to assume and then to deal with very oppositional journalism, challenging questions. Even if the journalist themselves happens to agree with a lot of your policies, their job is to come up with what are challenging, often oppositional, critical questions. But the way that Trump has dealt with that sort of reporting, because sometimes that means, yes, things are going to come to light that aren't super positive about you. So the way he deals with that is labeling it all fake news and then defining accurate journalism as friendly journalism. And so Kari Lake, as an apprentice to Trump, behaves that way. But the question was just asking about, all right, are these people going to endorse you? Are they going to campaign with you? It's never enough for y'all. What do you expect them to say? Just, hey, Kari Lake, how is your campaign so perfect and you're wonderful? No, you're supposed to think of what things could be done better. Why is that upsetting to MAGA folks? The job of journalists, even if they, on a personal level, agree with your politics or they don't, their job is to challenge the powerful or those who want to get into power. But again, I wonder where she learned that sort of response.
I think I'd know. Look, if I came onto a stage like this and I got treated so rudely as this woman treated me.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm fine with it because she was very rude, sir. Very rude. That wasn't a question. She didn't ask me a question. She gave a statement. That wasn't a question.
I repeated your statement, sir, actually.
Yeah, and I am pretty sure that was a one-off, right? He's only ever done that once?
What's the answer?
Do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple you're a nasty person, I'll tell you.
Can you answer why you held on to the document?
Nasty. That word nasty just shows up with certain people, doesn't it? But surely that's the only time.
What the hell do you have to lose? Okay?
So what do you say to Americans? Sir, nearly 200. I'll spell up.
John,
Nearly
go
200
ahead.
dead. What do you say to Americans who are scared, though? I guess nearly 200 dead, 14,000 who are sick, millions, as you witness, who are scared right now. What do you say to Americans who are watching you right now who are scared?
I say that you're a terrible reporter. That's what I say. Go ahead.
He's a terrible reporter because he's accurately describing that people were very scared during the pandemic. Just to continue this compilation, then we'll discuss further. You also have this during the pandemic.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yamiche Alcindor from PBS
Yes.
NewsHour. My first question is, you said that you don't take responsibility, but you did disband the White House pandemic office, and the officials that were working in that office left this administration abruptly. So what responsibility do you take to that? And the officials that worked in that office said that the White House lost valuable time because that office wasn't disbanded. What do you make of that?
Well, I just think it's a nasty question because what we've done is...
Nasty question. And then I do want to play this for you.
So interesting. I watch these criminals back there, the press. Look at them. Look at how many of them. That's a lot of people.
Criminals. He refers to the press as criminals. And so when I say that we're going to be dealing with this characteristic, what I mean is the second you teach a population of people that what they should be looking at, what they should be looking for and demanding in the press is friendliness and loyalty to their preferred candidate, things spiral out of control. For example, whenever, one of the things I've cited before, whenever it was still Trump and Biden, my preferred candidate with his flaws was Biden. But still, I respected the fact that George Stephanopoulos in that interview post-debate absolutely grilled Biden, brutally so, about doubts around his candidacy. Would it have been better journalism, because at the time Biden was my preferred candidate, for George Stephanopoulos to say, oh, people are being so unfair to you, we just love you so much and you're the best, so how do you do it? Which is about what we get from a lot of right-wing outlets in their interviews of Trump. No, it wouldn't have. The job in that moment was for Stephanopoulos to ask the questions that Americans had. And so that is going to carry over for a long time into how these MAGA politicians operate themselves. It's sort of don't shoot the messenger. That principle is going away. Where the messenger, these press outlets are often just asking about other people's concerns or other people's questions or what your opposition is criticizing you for. But watching that Kari Lake clip gives us an indication of the next generation of MAGA is going to continue to try to define good journalism as friendly journalism. And that's not what a democracy needs. And that leads to, it seems trivial in the moment, right? Just a little clash. Oh, that's fun. But the fake news that they are criminals, it leads to the justification of saying stuff like this, as Trump did on Truth Social. MSNBC, or MSDNC he calls it, uses free government-approved airways, and yet it is nothing but a 24-hour hit job on Donald J. Trump and the Republican Party for purposes of election interference. Brian Roberts, its chairman and CEO, is a slimeball who has been able to get away with these constant attacks for years. Is the world's biggest political contribution to the radical left Democrats, who, by the way, are destroying our country. And here it is. Because I know some people don't think I'm accurately quoting this when I say it because it sounds so outlandish. Our so-called government should come down hard on them and make them pay for their illegal political activity. Much more to come, watch. If you fancy yourself pro-Constitution, if you identify as for our Constitution, you cannot be okay with potential president saying our government should come down hard on outlets they don't like because those outlets report negative stories about them. You just can't. And it's hard now to quantify the long-lasting damage that comes of this sort of behavior. We're headed right now, that's why we're in the car, to a Trump rally. And I've talked to Trump supporters who, in the last video, the Charlotte, North Carolina video that you can find, I think it's still on the homepage of our YouTube channel, if you haven't watched that already. In that video, I talked to a Trump supporter who had defund the media on a shirt. And I read out that post, or part of it. You know, he said, come down hard on media outlets. The government should, right? And she said, yeah, I mean, what the media is doing is so bad. That's not pro-First Amendment. It's just not. That's anti-freedom of the press, which is the opposite of what we should advocate on behalf of. Let me know what you thought of all that in the comments. If you want to support the work that we do, you can do so by clicking the join button below.